Hi, so if you're here, you've probably watched the first video, which was how to make the pixie wig. In case you haven't watched that, just watch that. I'll probably link it somewhere. I'll link it somewhere. Let me stop playing with my tools. So for me to be able to lay down my pixie wig, I'm going to be using a number of things. And yeah, so I'm just going to show you what you're going to need and then we'll get straight to it. So today I'm going to be using our favorite friends, GOT2B. Okay, so I'm going to be using GOT2B to lay down my Lacefront today. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Studio, I never ever pronounce this right, the Extreme Hold Gel, and I'm going to be using that to sort of lay my hair back. You guys, when I take this off, no judgment please. It is quarantine time, haven't gotten my cornrows done. You cannot judge me. You can't judge me for this chipped nail either. You just need to sit there, enjoy the content, and like and subscribe. That's about it. That's it. Anyway, I'm gonna need some rubbing alcohol for when those little mistakes happen, and then obviously your normal tools: a brush, pair of scissors, some clips, and your rat tail comb. Very important. So the first step is to take this off. Oh gosh, these cornrows. Fine. The first step is to take that off and brush your hair back. So if you've got fresh cornrows, then you don't have these problems. You are living the best life, sis. If you have fresh cornrows, you better thank whoever did your hair. I can't braid myself, like I can't braid cornrows, so yeah, probably gonna take these off after this wig install, but yeah. Okay, so you brush your hair back, you take your L'Oreal Indestructible gel glue, and you lay some of that literally on your hairline. So beginning of your hairline. Okay, you push it back. You can even use your brush, but I prefer to use my hands to push it back so I don't get any product buildup. Okay. And then if you want, you can blow dry it. I prefer to blow dry it because it just makes the process so much easier. I put the setting on cool and then I put it on full steam, if that makes sense. Yeah. And just like that, it's dry. So I'm gonna do that for my entire forehead or hairline. And yeah, I do it in sections simply because it's less messier. You don't have to like rush to dry one part. It just makes it so much easier to do it in sections. That was a lot. But when your hair looks like mine, you need a lot. It needs to lay flat. Okay, so now that that's flat, I'm gonna reach out and grab my wig. Cool, so I'm gonna try the wig on. I did add I added an elastic band for stability because I made the wig a bit too big, and I added a comb. How you wear it is you take your elastic band and you put it towards the back of your head and you bring this to the front. So if you watched my first video, you would have seen that I burnt the lace and it made like these two huge holes in the front, which isn't really a problem. You can solve that with quick sticks. I burnt the lace while trying to blow dry it so that it could sort of go in one direction. Yeah, that. So I put this on and then I take the part with the comb and I hook it there as well. And this is how we are looking right now. It's coming together, it is. I'm gonna show you guys how to cut the lace, especially with this gigantic hole that I have. Okay, so when cutting the lace, you wanna hold the lace, or you wanna hold your frontal and cut according to the new hairline that you've made after plucking. I plucked my wig and I didn't show it on camera. You guys will let me know if you want to see the plucking process. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you're cutting in zigzag motions. You don't want to cut straight. So this is just the ear tab part. And when I say zigzag, I mean quite literally zigzag, but you want to also try and make sure that you don't make it huge, like zigzag motions. Because what happens is if you cut in a straight line, it looks super unrealistic and you don't want that. So this is the first hole, and if you've been cutting in zigzag motions, well, the way mine burned, it burned perfectly because all you do is cut in a way that it leads true exactly where the hole is. So if I do this, then there's just a little bit of hair left on the lace, but it actually goes well with my zigzag motion. So you want to make sure that you pull the hair back so you can see the difference between where you've cut and where the hole begins. But if you don't have a cut or a hole, you literally just continue to zigzag across. But because I've got a hole, I need to make sure that however zigzag I go, I end up over there by the beginning or at the furthest point of the burn hole thing. So I'm gonna have to sort of meddle through and cut some hair off. And then get to that part. So all of this hair has been cut off, and that's because I wanted it to blend in nicely with the hole, or else it would have looked weird. And then from there you continue to zigzag your way back onto the normal hairline that you've plucked. Don't ever go straight, or else it's going to look unrealistic. So remember, if you can't see, it's no harm to push the hair back and see where that hairline is so you can make sure you're cutting properly. So you push the hair back and you can see the hairline, and you continue to cut. Zigzag motions, small zigzag motions. Okay, so now that we've cut the lace, we're going to try it on again and see what it looks like. That looks good. That looks really good. So obviously my hair comes out here and there's a little curve for that. Oh, that looks really good. Okay, so now we need to cut the ear tabs, which for me is the trickiest part, and that's simply because I always cut my own miracles. Like, it is insane. Let me bring my mirror forward. Okay, so if this is to be glued down like that, that means I need to get rid of most of that. And my ear is that little, that's my ear. So we need to figure out a way to cut it. I'm gonna take my white, the makeup eyeshadow, it's an eyeshadow primer, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark some places in there. I don't want it to go all the way down here, so I'm gonna mark that there. So I sort of have an idea of how to cut. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on the other side. This is down, this is down. Take my comb. And you want to bring it from the back, because obviously that's where your ear is. So here my ear is slightly higher than on the other side in terms of where the lace is. Does that even make sense? So for example, the other side my ear was peeking through, and here it's not. So that means it would have to be cut from somewhere there. Mark that there. Yeah, it needs to be cut from somewhere there, all the way down somewhere here. Okay, let's see if I can do that. Okay, so I've just cut the ear tabs off and I think that worked perfectly. There we go. And then on this side, then you hold this down, push your hair all the way back. Ta-da! I think the worst thing about lace fronts is when you can't see your ears. That's when they're like, that's not her hair. Okay, that was actually not that bad. The markings really helped. The markings really helped. So mark your lace and then try to cut from the inside so that you don't cut like the chips of the other hair, especially if you have long hair. You'd cry if you had to cut like a chunk of your hair short because you're trying to cut the ear tabs off. Okay, let's glue it. So normal procedure, regular procedure, you know what it is, you know. Okay, I'm gonna take the GOT2B glued gel. This is the black tube. I don't have the white tube, but I have heard that it's better if you know how to work it. Just gonna use this, lay it. I think I'm gonna try and do this in sections because I really don't want to mess it up. So I'm gonna start right here and just sort of push the glue a little bit back into my hairline. Remember, when you take your lace front off, I've been seeing some very horrifying videos. When you take your lace front off, please just put your hair under the water or put your head in the water and let, like, you can put a basin of water, you can put water, in a basin, or you can literally just put your head under a running tap and it'll literally just slide off. No matter the glue you use, it'll literally just slide off, because tearing it obviously tears your hairline, and then you wonder why you've got no hairline because you've been wearing so many wigs and lace fronts, and it's because you've been tearing your lace fronts off. That is some level of bravery, you guys. Please don't rip your edges out. And then I'm going to take some of the GOT2B glue frosting spray and just lightly dab that on, and then just wait for it to get tacky, or you can blow dry it. I'm gonna blow dry it. And then I'm gonna do one more layer of the spray before I bring it to the front to lay. Okay, I'm gonna bring this to the front and just plug it there. I'm gonna use my rat tail comb. If you feel like it's not enough glue, that's not a problem. If you feel like there's parts where there isn't enough glue, because remember you cut in zigzag motions, that's okay. You can always go back in with the spray like I'm about to do. And then now I'm gonna do this side. I'm gonna do this side. So same process, just repeat. I always try to wrap it from the back, and then I remember that it's so tricky. Actually, I think I'm just gonna use my boyfriend's tie. Let me tell y'all how I found out about this hack. I couldn't find something to wrap my lace once, and obviously, I mean, so it looks proper, it ties proper, everything is just proper about it. So I was like, well, I don't see the problem, because no product, like product doesn't stay on the tie, so, and it just holds perfectly. Do you see? You just struggle a bit, obviously with the ear tabs, those always lift, so you need to make sure that when you tie your hair, everything is pushed back and the ear tabs are down, and then voila. I can't find my Mr. Price bunny ears, you know, those that you just put up. Yeah, I can't find that, so we find the tie. And it's a wrap. Okay, so I decided to push this back, and then I used Then I use some of my Wella Shockwaves. You can definitely use your GOT2B glue to just sort of mold it because you want that molded look. I molded it to the side. I molded it to the side over here. So this is how it's looking right now. This lace is beautiful. Came out beautifully. So yeah, that is how I make my pixie wig. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me if you like this, if I should be doing more of these cheap, affordable, but like looking bougie, expensive kind of looks, because this literally could not cost you over 500 rand. You know what I'm saying? You buy the frontal, shortest frontal possible, and you just make sure that you're free. You sort of eyeball it, you cut the way you see fit, or take it to somebody. If you feel like this is too much work for you, don't be afraid to support a business. Thank you so much for watching. Laters.